all. Welcome you all for the course on SAP BW or BI. And before I start up with the course on BW or BI, I often have this problem with many of the students. Some people call it as BW and some people call it as BIW and some people call it as BI. So some people call it as SAP NetViewer BI. So there are a lot of confusion with different namings used in the terminology. So before I start up with this course, I just want to clarify on this point of what should I call this application. Should I call this as BIW or should I call this as BW or should I call this BI or what it is. Initially, when SAP has come out with this product, they name it as BIW in the older versions. Then from 3.0 versions, they started calling it as BW. Then from 7 version, they started calling it as BI, Business Intelligence. It was fine for some time, but once SAP has taken over business objects, they started naming business objects as Business Intelligence. Now that's where the confusion started, that there are two applications with the same terminology as BI, Business Intelligence. So to overcome this problem, SAP has renamed BW back to BW from 7.3 version. So now, as of now, we strictly call it as SAP NetWeaver BW, Business Warehouse. So I think I have made it clear on what we should call it as SAP NetWeaver BW, Business Warehouse. That's what we would prefer calling it. And this is a slide where we try to understand why do we need SAP BW for an enterprise? What is the benefit what an enterprise would get in when they implement SAP BI or BW for them? And what is all about SAP BW? And how do they implement SAP BW? That's what we're going to see as why, what, and how. Now, at this slide, we're trying to concentrate on why is BW? Why do most of the customers need BW? Like say, we have a lot of customers who are using BW, like say BMW or Shell Chemicals, the Coca-Cola company, what's not. There are around 14,000 customers who are using SAP BW as their data warehousing solution or enterprise data warehousing solution. Now the reason is, now we need to understand what was the driving force for those customers to implement BW. So this way, each customer has got a different driving force for implementing BW as their data warehousing solution or as their enterprise data warehouse solutions. If you look at some of the examples, for example, if you take some of one of the topmost automotive industries, they use BW for a different purpose, like say in this kind of automotive industry, they do spend lots of money on purchasing. So what they want to do, they want to reduce their cost and improve their profits. So they would like to reduce their cost by having a control on the spend, where they do most of the spend in the purchasing area. And when I say purchasing, they mainly deal with two things: direct procurement and indirect procurement. But if you try reducing the cost at the direct procurement, it would affect your production. So they would mainly concentrate on reducing the cost at indirect procurement, which will not affect your production. In turn, reduce your cost and improvise your the ratio of revenues or the profits. So what they were trying to do is they were trying to have a very good analytical reporting system where they consolidate data of all the purchasing information to one and provide their reporting for reporting platform on the entire purchasing processes, which was helping them to reduce the leakages in the process at the same time have the reports analyzed by themselves and reduce the cost at the purchasing area. At the same time, there is one of the case driving force for the topmost automotive industry to implement BW. One of the driving force, I could say. And there are some other retail businesses which use BW. What they do is each shop where they do perform the sale, they call it as point of sale. So from morning to evening, they do a lot of transactions at the POS, point of sale. So what they do is at the end of day, they collect all this data from this different POS, say point of sales data, and upload it to a central database. From central database, they bring all this data into SAP BW, and they further refine this data, and then that using data mining concept, and that gives out a decision for them what needs to be done next, or helps them to forecast things for the future. So that's how. So I cannot limit them. So you can also do planning and forecasting with SAP BW. Okay, so there are multiple other reasons. So this was an example of a different driving force for different customers why they were implementing BW. That was just a very minimal or very minimized examples given to you. But if you get into more details, you can see at this slide that your SAP BW gives you a greater ability to access and analyze your data. Yeah, exactly. Your BW has got tools and techniques in it, which is enabling you to analyze the existing historical data and access it onto the portals or your analyzer, where users are really comfortable in accessing the data, and also acts as a solution for faster and more collaborative decision making process. So what it does is, since you have all the historical data of your business with you, you can always run your reports on top of this historical data, which enables you to analyze the business faster and take up a more collaborative decisions with integrating with lots of people, which enables you the people integration among the business, and also improves your metric tracking and more accountability with visibility into key performance indicators by the line of the business, and also enables you planning and forecasting what we discussed. And with the help of reports, you can also reduce leakages in your business processes, and also helps you to integrate and consolidate data from different heterogeneous systems and store it in one system. So that's where your BW acts as an enterprise data warehousing solution, where it extracts data from different heterogeneous systems into one, and that's where it provides the data as a one point of truth, one fact information for n number of data marts which can get in from BW. So you might look at reports from any of the data marts, which is further getting data from BW always gives you the same results. So it is one fact or one point of fact throughout the entire enterprise. That's what the BW aims at implementing things for the customers. Yeah, at this slide we're trying to understand what is SAP BW and what does it do for us. It's also an SAP product. We have lots of products delivered by SAP, but SAP BW is one of the products from SAP. It's an end-to-end data warehousing solution. When I say this, data warehousing is actually a concept which tells us that we need to consolidate data from different systems into BW and then provide this or expose this data for reporting or analytical purposes. And BW is an application which is implementing this concept of data warehousing by providing you the tools and techniques or different programs for you. So it's an analytical application, a reporting application, and it's a part of SAP network technology. And as you see this, the figure given in this slide, which clearly depicts you what data warehousing is and what BW can do it for you. On the left corner side, you see different transaction systems, which we call them as source systems, which could be flat file or SQL databases, CRM applications, or ERP applications, or any other systems. And your data warehousing solution or your BW will have a capability of the ETL part, which takes care about extracting the data from all the systems and transform the data in a required format to data warehouse. And whatever data comes in, and we store that in a multi-dimensional format and historical data in a data warehouse. And this data can be further exposed onto the for the reporting front for analysis, or can be further refined further to do a data mining, which can give you further refinement of the results for the business, or giving out a decision for us. And also can be used for creating some dashboards which can give you faster insight into the business with more summarized data. That's what the BW can do it for you. And here is what for you, here is it what for you, the different versions of BW. If you see on the top right, that's where the BIW started with 1.2a, then we used to call it as BIW. Then the name has been changed from BIW to BW from 3.0, and then from 7 we started calling it as BI7. But later, because of the confusion with BW, they started naming it back to BW. So from 7.3 we again call it back it as BW, yeah. And that's where the latest version 7. We also have 70.4 also. Now this is right where we're just trying to gather all or consolidate all the information about what BW can do for us. It mainly can perform 4 different aspects for us. One is extraction, modeling, reporting, and performance tuning. When you say extraction, this is where the ability of your BW with different connections or adapters through which it can connect to different applications, SAP or non-SAP, and gives you the flexibility of extracting data from those applications into your BW. And modeling is the capacity of the capability of BW, which enables you to store data in a multi-dimensional format, and which leads to having the analysis from multiple angles. When you say multi-dimensional model, you try to store data in one form and try to analyze the data from multiple angles. So in BW, we're going to do a store data in form of multi-dimensional format and do reporting on top of it. And when you say reporting, this is the capability of BW, which gives you the flexibility of providing reports through which you can provide right information at right time for the right people to make the right decisions. So the reporting for enabling it for reporting, in BW we use something called Business Explorer, which further contains sub-components like Beck's Query Designer and we have Beck's Analyzer, and we have Web Analyzer, Web Application Designer, and Report. We have different suite of it's a suite of different components in as Beck's, which enables you for doing reporting and presenting the data for the business user for analysis. And lastly, we also have some performance tuning techniques. For example, you have defined a query and that runs a bit slow, and as part of performance tuning, you try to understand the tools and techniques to improve the performance of the query. At the same time, let's say you're extracting data from a source and the load is running slow, and as part of performance tuning, we understand the different tools and techniques in order to improve the performance of loading. This is what the 4 aspects what we'll be handling, doing it in BW. And BW is, I said BW is part of NetViewer. Now let's understand what SAP NetViewer is. Basically, SAP NetViewer is a suite of different products, and which have been organized in form of layers. Like we got application platform layer, we have process integration layer, and we have information integration layer, and we have people integration layer. At the application platform layer, we can have applications deployed on top of Java, J2 engine or a web engine. In the process integration, we can have applications built with SAP XI or SAP PI. We call it SAP Process Integrator, which can integrate multiple applications. And we have information integration, which will have our business intelligence in it, which will actually extract data from different systems and store it and provide the reports for analysis. And we have another application called MDM, Master Data Management, which basically deals with consolidation of master data from different systems and generate some unique master data information. And knowledge management, you can understand like a storage place where it stores all the documentations of the enterprise. And then in the people integration, we have something called portal, which is a portal which can enable you for single sign-on, and which can be as a portal based, and which can be used to access any information from any of the systems into the portal. And we have something like collaboration rooms, which is more like a chat rooms, which enables a virtual meeting among the different departments of the business. And multi-channel access, which gives a flexibility of accessing these reports to the through mobile. Yeah. And then we have lifecycle management, which takes care of the complete process of implementing the system from the time of design till the go live. And complete application framework, again, where I can go about deploying my own applications on top of it. So this is where you can see what infrastructure does and what collaboration does and what knowledge management does, and what a BA can do, what MDM can do, what is integration program. You can just get into details of each of this. And this is where we're trying to understand the positioning of BW, BO and HANA. Because I often get a lot of questions from most of my students that is HANA going to replace BW? And the straight away answer is no. Because BW is an enterprise data warehousing solution with lots of tools and techniques in it, with a lot of components built in within that. But HANA is just an in-memory database, a full-blown database which is speeding up your data processing. But it doesn't have any of the business content, or it doesn't have any of the tools and techniques for implementing a warehouse there. So that's where now if you see in the left corner, we have a data from different suite of SAP with CRM, APO, all this, and different third-party applications where data get into a BW, and we have a BW accelerator to improve the performance of the query. On top of this BW, we can do reporting on BEX, or we can also do reporting by using business objects. And the BEX reports can be published on the SAP portal, or all the BO reports can be still published onto your SAP portal, or even BO portal using that is nothing but your launchpad. And if you look at the next here this way, you have a BW system. Normally every time you install BW, you always install with some database in the backend. You install your database, and top of it you install your BW server. Now instead of installing with some other database like Oracle or SQL Server or Sybase, we can also install with HANA as a backend. So that's where we refer it as BW being powered by HANA, and where the reporting can be done on BO. So HANA will act as a database for the BW system, empowering BW to perform in high intensive performance. And apart from this, you can also use HANA as a data mart, where data from different systems come into HANA, and then reporting is done on top of BO. And we have other products from SAP, like we have got SAP ERP, which is basically a transaction system of SAP, which basically has got different applications like SD, MM, PP, quality management, plant maintenance, HR, FI, CO, treasury, project systems, all this. And each one is one application area which takes care about processing of the transactions of a respective department. And we also have other product of SAP as SAP CRM, Customer Relationship Management, which takes care about the customer relevant transactions. We also have another application called SAP SRM, Supplier Relationship Management, which takes care about supplier relevant transactions. And we got SAP SCM, Supply Chain Management, which was previously called as APO, Advanced Planning Optimizer, which will have sub-modules like demand planning, or system network planning, or global availability promise, which basically goes with supply chain planning. Yeah? And we have something called product lifecycle management, which takes care about the research of the products. So now all the set of products of SAP, we call them as business suite. Yeah? BW is part of NetWeaver, but all this set of applications we call it as business suite. Yeah? And then it's a time for having some system walkthrough about just getting on into system and understanding how we build the info cubes, or how do we load it from different sources into info cubes, and how do we do reporting on top of those cubes. Yeah? And coming up with the job opportunities in SAP BW, since always you have a lot of job opportunities with different combinations like this, say BW BO, or BW HANA, or BW CRM, BW BPC, BW ABAP, or BW SCM, BW R3. So you'll have a lot of different compositions required for the jobs. So you'll have a lot of scope within this. So even if I have lots of people that's been consumed in different preferences, say I have a lot of BW consultants, some would go on to with BW BO combination, some people would get onto BW ABAP combination, some people would get onto BW HANA combination. That's where you have a lot of scope for the BW systems, or BW job opportunities. Thank you for the demo. Hope you enjoyed the demo here. And we'll also, if you have any questions, you can go ahead. But I just want to clarify on the topics what we're going to cover. Here is the contents what we going to cover throughout this course. As per day 1, we try to understand about basics of database and understand what is OLTP, OLAP, and what's a data warehouse, and what are the different ETL tools or applications, and also understand different vocabulary about master data and then transaction data. As per day 2, we understand the different SAP BW architecture. And day 3, we'll just try to get a little bit hands-on onto the system about creating info area, catalogs, info objects, or master data info cube. Then we go on to learning about the complete backend design of the info cube, about extended star schema. And then in day 6, we try to understand about how do we extract the master data from ACC or R3 and load into master data tables with both 3.x data flow and 7. Similarly, we learn about how do I extract the transaction data from ECC or R3 to and load into cube and design a simple query on top of the cube. And also we learn about extract data from this ECC or R3 with 7 flow. And then we'll try to understand more details of the ETL process and the info privacy properties or the DDP properties and transfer methods. And then we get into understanding about extracting the data from Oracle database into BW, then extracting data from flat files into BW. Then we try to understand different transformation techniques by using transfer rules, update rules, and transformations. Then we learn about the DSO and ODS concepts and how does it, it's another target like cube, but how does it override the data, and how do we extract data from different source into ODS and then do reporting on ODS. And we also learn about data marts with 3.x and 7. When I say data mart, like loading data from ODS to ODS or ODS to cube or cube to cube, that's what we treat as data marts here. Then another next 10 days we'll start spending time on the BEX reporting, understanding the different components of BEX. Or learning about query designer or WAD or report designer or web analyzer or BEX analyzer. The next other 10 days we start spending time on the understanding different other types of extractions of data from SAP R3, where you'll try to understand about COPA, LO extraction, and FISL extraction and other standard business content extractors. Then we will move on to advanced modeling, where we try to learn about different types of cubes or different types of DSOs, then multi-provider, then InfoSec. Then we get out a topic called non-cumulative key figures, and then open up destination, open up services or info spokes. Then we go on to learning about process change or remodeling and repartitioning, and APD, analysis process design, which is a data mining tool. And then we go about learning about information broadcasting, which is about reporting agent. And we also go about learning about how do I migrate my objects from 3.x to BA7 flow. Then understand about transport connection, how do we transport objects from one development environment to quality or quality to production. Then we spend around 1 week's time purely on performance tuning, understanding how to improve the performance of queries and how to improve the performance of loading. Next we understand the SAP methodologies, where we try to understand what are different phases of a project like SDLC, similar to software development life cycle. And here we also see lots of other points like currency conversion unit, all this, but not be listed in this. But then we won't have implementation and support project details. Like implementation, we'll cover some scenarios, and support part we'll try to discuss about support issues and incident management. Thanks for that. This is the content for us.